Okay.
So Jeff, I guess we didn't do what you said and put 2020 in a box and bury it and get rid of it. It's still alive.
Still alive. 2020. Hey, there's TL.
There he is. Welcome, Tony. Okay, we are all here. So I'm going to call this special meeting of the Truckee Donner Public Utility District to order. I have that it is 4:01. Shauna, could I get a roll call, please?
Thank you. Director Aguera,
Here.
Director Harris,
Here.
Director Bender,
Here.
Vice President Laliotis,
Here.
President Finn.
Here.
Thank you.
Interim General Manager Wright, are there any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes.
Thank you. Straight to special business, which is me. Just good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all very much for making time for me in your busy schedules. I called the special meeting because we need to revisit item number 8 from Wednesday's meeting. I was unprepared in the moment and taken aback by Director Harris's motion. But upon very little reflection, I realized that having Director Harris serve on the ad hoc committee is untenable. Director Harris's comments leading up to the motion were a direct attack on our interim general manager, Brian Wright. I have never heard such disrespectful language used in a board meeting before. Interim General Manager Wright was unanimously appointed to his position by the board. He has served the district with consummate skill and integrity. He has earned my trust and respect many times over and has our complete confidence and support. I am ashamed that I did not defend him vigorously in the moment, but I will not make that mistake again. Given Director Harris's animus towards Interim General Manager Wright, how can we expect her to negotiate an agreement in good faith? And how can we expect Interim General Manager Wright to feel respected and protected in the process? It is clearly not in the best interest of the district. It was a mistake for me to call for a vote without further discussion. Also, it appears that Director Harris, by her actions and words, has placed herself in violation of her severance agreement with the district. This is a public document, and anyone with an interest is welcome to request a copy. Even if the obligations in the agreement did not exist, it is not okay to undermine or attempt to undermine the authority of any of our employees, especially our general manager. No general manager can succeed if employees feel free to go over their head to a board member. It is unacceptable behavior for a board member not to recognize this and entertain and engage in such conduct. I would like to hear the thoughts of my fellow board members in more detail and will now open up this conversation. I do not expect to have to remind anyone that we are not discussing our interim general manager. We are discussing whether it is appropriate for Director Harris to serve on the ad hoc committee. I'm going to limit each of you to 3 minutes apiece, as everybody's time is valuable and it is Friday afternoon. But everybody will have a chance to weigh in. Would anybody like to volunteer to begin? Or shall I go down the line? All right, no volunteers.
Am I going to get a chance to talk?
Yes, you are. You will.
Okay.
2 minutes.
I will let you know that I talked to Brian today, and I expressed to him my appreciation for him taking the role of the interim general manager on such short notice. He was appointed unanimously by you all, and he was actually appointed even earlier than that at a previous meeting when they appointed, I think, Brian and Joe at the same time. So I was excited about this job to do and was trying to collect information on the interim general manager job description, so to speak, because that's a pretty standard document in the HR world. Is when you hire somebody, there's usually a list of qualifications and duties and jobs, and to give me a better idea of what the interim general manager is responsible for. And I think that that's an important part when negotiating an agreement with an employee. So I'm here for the district. I'm here for the ratepayers. And Brian, you're an important part of this group. And you were important back in Snowmageddon in my opening statement, and you're important now. So I'm actually kind of shocked that there's information coming out like this.
Information coming. Would Director Laliotis like to make any comment? And nobody has to make any comment. Let me be clear about that as well.
Yeah, Krista, I'll offer a couple things. I mean, I had the same concern about the ability to negotiate with Brian based on Kim's comments that night. As for the other duties of the ad hoc committee with regards to the GM selection, I'm confident that Kim could participate in that, but I do echo, that night and following that discussion, I do echo my concerns about her ability to do that in an unbiased fashion. So that's my comments right now.
Thank you, Director Laliotis. Director Aguilera, would you like to make any comments?
Hey, Joe?
Yes.
Well, the other night when I was making the nominations, and I was kind of in the middle of it, and when Director Kim came in, it kind of surprised me a little bit. I've never been at a meeting where somebody has nominated themselves. And I said, wait, what's happening here? But to me, that was a volunteer thing, and it would happen so fast that I figured, well, okay, I'll just bypass it. And I'm really should have had, like you say, Krista, we should have had maybe a little more discussion on that, because I don't think that I think that the ones we had before, you and Tony, worked out beautifully. I mean, you guys did a fantastic job on that. And the other night, I wasn't going to nominate you. I was going to nominate Jeff, because you were president, and I thought maybe it'd be a little bit too much of a load for you having both both positions. So, but it went through, it passed, and I am willing to do right now what needs to be done. I feel that we should have like the two past people on our ad hoc committee. That's all I'll say now.
Thank you, Director Aguilera. Director Bender.
Yes, thank you, Krista. And thank you very much. I am in full support of everything you said earlier. This has been a dark cloud that has been hanging over the district for about 2 years and continues to hurt this board, employees, and eventually the community. I voted no on Wednesday night because of what has been going on regarding the severance agreement, which you have now brought to light, and I thank you for that. I also voted no because of what Kim said during director discussion regarding the ad hoc committee to negotiate with Brian. Kim stated she wanted other staff members to be considered for interim GM and clearly wants to undo the unanimous decision this board made to make Brian Wright the interim general manager. Krista had to inform Kim not once, but twice that the board had already appointed Brian. As such, Kim has shown she has a bias against Brian and cannot possibly be fair to him or the process of negotiating his agreement. Her comments were not made in good faith. Furthermore, Kim's statements have led me to believe Kim's mind is made up to replace Brian. Kim made these statements, and it is what it is. And I cannot see any way our interim general manager can be provided the unbiased process he rightfully deserves if she is on the ad hoc committee. So there we are. That's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Bender. I appreciate everybody weighing in on this. I am now going to put this open session into abeyance, and we are going to shift into closed session. I am not going to entertain a motion on this issue at the moment, and we'll see how closed session unfolds. I will see you all on the other side.
Just to be clear, Krista, we're going to go into closed session under item number 6 is listed on the agenda, correct?
Yes, that is correct. I apologize. I lost
It's okay.
my space on the, oh my gosh, I don't even know where my agenda went.
It's okay. We don't need to read it. We just need to reference that we're going in under that item.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, there's Joe. So just Tony.
I do not see Tony on the list.
Okay, Tony's not here yet.
Boy, I'm in the dark.
I feel that way often.
He said he's a camel, but I have my doubts now.
I think I'm on. Am I?
Joe, you are here. Yes. Director Aguilera, pardon me. I'm looking for Tony still. Oh, there he is. Hi, Tony. Welcome back. Okay. We're all here. We are coming out of closed session with no reportable action. We do still have one outstanding item that was on the agenda. Here we go. Consideration to reestablish and or redefine the purpose of the General Manager Succession and Ad Hoc Committee. This item involves considering the reestablishment of appointments to and or redefining the purpose of the General Manager Succession Ad Hoc Committee.
I can't hear anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that, who can't hear?
That was Shauna. We could hear Shauna, but now we cannot see Joe.
Oh, I see. Joe went off.
Visually.
Yeah.
Oh,
The,
we just lost Joe.
okay. Shall we give Joe a moment or two to reconnect? This is all technical difficulty. We have leeway. Joe is back.
Oh, I am, okay.
Sorry for the technical issues.
All I see is Zoom. Okay, I'm in now.
We see you, Director Aguera. You are in.
Yes,
Welcome back.
thank you.
So now we are revisiting. I'm not going to read the whole thing again. Item number 5 under special business this evening to consider the reestablishment and redefine the purpose of the General Manager Succession Ad Hoc Committee. There we go. So I'm going to open this up again to board discussion, and we will move forward from there.
Do you want to take any public comment?
Yes, I do. Is there any public comment? Thank you, Tony. You read my mind. Shauna, is there any public comment on this item?
No, Madam President.
Thank you. We will now close public comment. Do we have, again, I would like to open this up to our my fellow board members.
Yeah, I'll start, Krista.
Thank you, Tony.
First off, I want to take this moment to publicly apologize that if any of my actions or inactions on Wednesday night had an impact, a negative impact on Brian and your ability to do your job, I apologize. It wasn't my intent. I was confident that I could do my job as the ad hoc committee member and work through the tasks of that committee. But as I said, if any of those actions or inactions put you in a position to feel uncomfortable, I apologize. Second, so I want to remind the board that there were 3 intents of this ad hoc committee. One was to renegotiate or negotiate a contract for the interim general manager, as we recognized that the process to move forward with finding a new GM is going to take some time, and this was not the same interim general manager appointment that occurred when Michael Hawley retired, that this was a longer term and with significantly higher expectations, and that we recognize that and want to make sure that we're all on the same page on how that proceeds and how that is compensated for. Second is the idea that we revisit the process and agree and that the committee would bring back recommendations to the board on to how to proceed with filling the permanent general manager's position. And, you know, I struggle with that a little bit because I feel like there is so much groundwork that's already laid and so much work that's already been done. I think we have to answer a few simple questions amongst ourselves. And I'm not quite certain that that just can't happen within the purview of the full board. So I'm just throwing that out there that, yes, I know that Steve will argue that an ad hoc committee can meet more frequently and more nimbly than we can as a board. But I also come to the point that, you know, we can probably get this done on our own through our own board meetings to have an open discussion on how we're going to proceed. So that's just a suggestion. It's just my gut, but I do think that there is a need to appoint at a minimum 2 people to serve for the purpose of negotiating the interim general manager's contract.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you for those clarifying statements. Director Aguera, do you have anything that you would like to add to the discussion?
only that we're setting up a committee to negotiate the interim general manager's contract.
Correct.
Good with that.
Thank you.
I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that's the only task, Joe. I was just making not a recommendation, just a food for thought for the board.
Yeah. That's no, we'll always have to do it, I imagine. And we should get a contract with Brian. And Brian, I don't think I said anything. I'm apologizing if I did from the last meeting, but I always hold my comments to a minimum. So thank you.
Thank you, Director Aguera. Director Harris, would you like to add to the discussion?
Sure. So I, at the last board meeting, I was appointed into this ad hoc committee, and after kind of further discussion and consideration, I think it best for a newbie on the board to, maybe leave this important negotiation and work on the committee to two more seasoned board members. So I am going to step down from the ad hoc committee. I appreciate, once again, I want to, let Brian know that I do appreciate him stepping up for the interim and also getting, educated a little bit better. And I do appreciate the board in the spirited discussions that we have. So yeah.
Thank you, Director Harris. Director Bender.
Okay. Tony's thought, just kind of parceling off, we need to negotiate with the interim GM. That needs to happen sooner than later. I kind of want to hear, we have one more board member to hear from regarding the, breaking that off. My gut feeling, just hearing that, I think that's okay. But I'd like to hear from Krista too, President Finn, on that one. And then I know Tony mentioned, are we staying legal here, Steve? What are your 2 cents on that after, or I don't know, it's Krista, up to you if you want to hear from Steve first, or you, of course, there's my 2 cents. I'm babbling there. Thank you.
I'll be happy to make my comments and then ask for Council Gross's counsel. I agree. It's the most important thing in front of us as the ad hoc committee. Will be negotiating an agreement with interim director or interim general manager Wright. But I do think, a meeting, it doesn't have to be a whole bunch of meetings, but I think it would be nice to have a meeting just to sort of whittle down choices as we proceed, or maybe define a couple of paths and then come back to the full board. And that might be all that's required of the ad hoc committee. And we can make that decision. So I think it can be a much smaller scope than the original ad hoc committee, what we accomplished there, because that's exactly right. The groundwork is still all there. But I do think, I think a meeting or so might be very helpful before we come before the whole board and discuss it, because it takes a long time to discuss things with the whole board, as we are experiencing this evening. So Council Gross, would you have any comments?
Director Bender asked if we were legal, and I'd ask you to clarify that, Jeff. I don't understand what you were asking. I'm sorry. As to what is legal?
Well, do you have any, is there, I guess the title of this item is redefining the purpose of the General Manager Succession Ad Hoc Committee. So, and that's what Tony has suggested we do. And I guess the question is, do you see any problem with that or have any other additional insight?
So the item is agendized to allow for this particular discussion and action on it to redefine the purpose and the scope of tasks for the ad hoc committee. And certainly you could go either of two ways. Either having the committee only negotiate an agreement with the interim general manager, and/or you could have the committee perform some limited tasks with respect to the broader general manager search. But if you also choose, you could say we don't want to have the committee engage in the general manager search. Let's have some discussion by the board, as Director Laliotis has suggested, and go down that path. And you might say that that's an effective way to go and continue down that path. Or you might say, maybe we need some more focused work by a committee. So, he did say that I would say that an ad hoc committee has a little bit more, it can be a little bit more nimble in how and when it gets together. And that's true, but that shouldn't be the only guiding light here. So I think you've got all the options open, and it's properly agendized for whatever action you want to take.
And I just want to sort of add on to that. It made me think of something else, the nimbleness of the committee, because I think we could get a lot done in a very short time frame, like I said, with like a single ad hoc committee meeting and agendize for the whole board. Like, I want this process to begin, I think it's what I'm trying to say. I don't want to, looking at our calendar for the year, we have a lot of work in front of us. We have double meetings every month. We have workshops every month. We have, so I feel like getting the whole board together without a clear, for what will be I don't want to say it's going to be rambling, but it takes time. It takes time to get everybody's thoughts and then consensus in an open board meeting. So I am just reiterating that I think it would be worthwhile to have that aspect of the ad hoc committee remain intact, which does not mean we need a million ad hoc committee meetings by any stretch. So.
No, thanks for that, Krista. I just want to be clear that I think, we've done a lot of work, and I don't think there's a lot of ad hoc work that needs to be done. I think there's some simple questions that need to be answered, some outreach to perhaps, our executive search firm, et cetera, et cetera. So with that, I'll make a motion to appoint Jeff Bender and Krista Finn to the ad hoc committee for the purposes of any or all of the above, negotiating an interim general manager agreement with Brian Wright, identifying the succession transition plan and process, and establish a selection process of a new general manager.
Interesting, Tony. I thought you were going to nominate yourself there.
I thought that was very gracefully done, Tony.
Right.
Way to put more.
Let's look at the motion before he changes his mind.
Okay, so I believe I just heard Director Aguirre second that motion.
So is there, I guess just to continue on, I did read Robert's Rules of Order. We can discuss this.
Oh, yeah, we can.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that?
There is a motion and a second. Oh, are you asking me?
Are you? I'm perfectly happy to serve.
Yeah.
Good.
I had envisioned Tony, just because you were just so talking so nicely and eloquently about the ad hoc committee process. I have a good handle on it, but I'm happy to accept that nomination.
Yeah. Tony may just have had enough of me. It's understandable.
Had enough of something. It's not you though. No, I in reflection, I have too many things going on in my life right now, and I'm not in a position to take on more. And my quality of life has been impacted by too many things, and I'm just trying to take stock a little bit here.
That's absolutely
So.
Understood. But I just really, really appreciate the candidness and this discussion right now. So I appreciate that. So we have there we are.
Okay.
So
So
I'm done discussing.
Director Aguirre, you just lit up. Do you have something like your square lit up?
No, I lit up. How did I do that?
Joe's always lit up. Come on.
Always lit up. So I'm sorry, I'm losing my, it's been a long meeting.
It's okay. Take a moment.
I'm perfectly happy to wrap this up. I'll second the motion.
What motion was that?
Joe already seconded it.
No, Joe already seconded it.
I think that we can take a roll call vote, Shauna, please.
Thank you. Director Aguirre,
Yes.
Director Bender,
Yes.
Director Harris,
Yes.
Vice President Laliotis,
Yes.
President Finn.
Yes,
Thank you, Beth and Krista,
Thank you.
for taking that.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for all of your time this evening, including staff who has been very, very patient with us. I'm just going to wish everybody a peaceful, restful holiday, and I'm going to adjourn this meeting.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Great holiday period. You're all very important to me. Thank you very much for tonight.
Merry
Thank you.
Christmas. Happy holidays.